Hi, this is Jess, and this is Tell Me a Story, a podcast where we're going to get comfy, relax our walls a little bit, and we're going to tell stories. A little story I have for my week is this morning in therapy, I told my therapist about my podcast idea. And not just because he's my therapist, but also he's a writer and he's a creator, and I really value his input on things. And he's also listened to me gripe for like about a year of like, I've got all these ideas and I don't have an outlet and I can't figure out how to, I'm having writer's block and all that fun stuff. So I kind of walked through and I explained it to him, and he seemed to really like it. And he said that I have a beautifully curious perspective. And I'm not just saying that to like brag, like my therapist thinks I'm cool, guys, but it's also because like that's one of my favorite things about myself that I've like kind of like, gathered over the years, and I've just really learned to love about myself. So when someone else sees that without me having to like over explain myself, that's something I'm still kind of recovering from. Yeah, I thought that was really sweet and obviously very important for this mission that I'm trying to do with this podcast. And I guess what I just wanted to share with that is just if you see something you like or you're impressed in with somebody, just tell them. I know I'm going to work on doing a little bit more of that myself going forward. And it just doesn't take much out of your day. And we don't really get into those deep conversations on a daily basis, really, with our busy lives. So I just thought that I'm going to start trying to do more of that. And yeah, I hope maybe that was kind of cool for someone else. Anyway, so I want to jump into talking to another really great friend of mine. Travis is here. Let me go ahead and pull you up here. Hi, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, Jess?
It's going, man. Thank you so much for helping me with this, wacky idea of mine. And I just figured if there's anyone who could tell a real story, a real cool story, it's you. So yeah, go ahead, and if you want to explain a little bit about your background if you want, but if not, then yeah, tell me a story.
Sure. So I'll jump into the story. Background could go on for a while. I haven't done an elevator pitch in a while, um, but I think we'll get to some details that'll tell it in itself there. So I was trying to come up. I had a bunch of ideas. I know I've floated several of them by you. Some were a little bit more intense than others. And given the story that I'm going to tell about you gets a little intense, I figured I'd have a fun one first.
Okay. Okay.
um, so here's the story. And this one actually, coincidentally, this is the day I met you, um,
Okay. Okay.
when this happened.
Okay.
So you'll recall that you and I met completely at random in line at Deer Creek.
Yeah.
Um,
At a concert.
and
Yeah.
at Dave, yeah, and it was just it was I, I don't know. You meet some people in line, you never see them again, even though you're like those people are cool, but like I don't know. It was just it felt really cool. My mother and you met all of us, and it was cool. So later that day in that show, so you may remember, I was wearing a blue shirt that had pineapples all over it.
You've
Um,
you've worn it a few times since. Yeah, that's one of
I
your shirts.
have,
Yeah.
um, but this I took a lot of years off of the internet, um, and which I think everybody should at some point in time in their life do. But I was not super familiar with the whole swinger lifestyle and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, God bless them. Not here to kink shame at all. That's cool. However, I didn't know what that meant, and I was there with my mother. So where this where this gets awkward, as you're probably already realizing, is that about an hour into the show that night, we were sitting in the seats in like the uppers, and everything was great. And I get a tap on my shoulder, and this guy, I mean, he clearly was three sheets to the wind, not all there. But he's like, "Hey, y'all swinging?" And I was like, I was like, like my immediate reaction was just, I was just dumbfounded. But I was like, do you fucking realize this is my mother? Um, and I like the guy. I don't know if he realized that that was not something you ask somebody about their mother, but he doubled down, and he said the question still stands. Um, and I was kind of like, I, I I just didn't know how to handle the situation, and so yeah, a little bit later that evening, I got on the phone with a really good group of friends of mine that a very core DMB group that I'm in.
Mhm.
Shout out to the PSP, if you will. Um, and I told them, like, I went through the whole situation, and they were confused. They were like, why the hell would they think that? And I sent a picture of me and my mom, hugging and
That's
all that
beautiful.
sort of stuff. And then one of them was like, oh, that's why. So fun thing that actually that taught me what the upside down pineapple meant. That taught me that apparently even your own mother is not off, off the radar for that. And also that named that same that chat. We are now this pineapple slut muffin posse. So
Love it.
coming to a show near you.
If we haven't been already.
Exactly. Yeah. So
That's so wild to me. No, I didn't know that story, by the way. I do remember meeting you that day, and
yeah.
yeah, it was just so, and I love how our story evolved after that, because I met you. I was just wandering around before the show. You were in the line to get merch, and I don't know even know how we stumbled, to have that conversation. And I
Yeah.
just felt our energies connect for sure. Because you're like, "This is my mom." And I'm like, "Hi, mom." I gave her a
Yeah.
hug. And then
Yeah.
like a month later, we were in Philly for another show. And I just feel like we were walking down the street, not even at the concert. We were walking down the street. We recognized each other. We're like, "Hey, you." Neither of us
Yeah.
could neither of us could place each other, but like it was still
Yes.
more than like we had to say something. So, and then our paths kept crossing that way. Anyway, I just think that's bold of that man to just
Yeah.
kind of, reach out and do that in the middle of a concert. I think that's funny. And what a way to find out that your bright pineapple shirt has a little meaning to it.
Yeah. You're never too old to learn something. So I guess
Agreed.
that's
Agreed.
yeah.
I hope we
And my,
never
my
stop
mom
learning.
also learned it on that day, and I don't think she found it as amusing as I did, but
She was
um
probably mortified.
yes, my
Your mom
yeah.
is the cutest, yeah.
Yeah.
What is something like, I love like trying to like figure out like what's something, why did it impact us, like, so what is something that you think you may do differently since that story, or like something that people could learn from it maybe.
So that's okay. That's so. I guess I mean any awkward situation. Like there's that saying. It's what never let a good tragedy go like un. Oh, I missed the end of the statement there. Don't waste a good tragedy or something like that. But like
Mhm.
even your awkward situations, you can make them fun. Because I mean, the
Yeah.
it's a singles group that I'm with that we're all really close with each other and all that, and we became the pineapple slut muffins, and
Yeah.
we just kind of embraced the humor in it, and
Amazing.
um, but yeah, it's but
That's
I
so
but I
cool.
guess we also learned that wearing pineapples around your mother does occasionally invite an awkward conversation.
Oh my gosh. It's just sometimes you have to. Oh, it just made me think of an awkward conversation I had with my mom, and I realized immediately we're not going to tell that on this, but I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh with her about it later. It's just another something I had to kind of explain to her, and I really wish I didn't have to. Uh, so that's awesome. Thank you. See, and I love stuff like this because that's a story I didn't know, and I've known you for a while now. So
Yeah,
yeah. Can I go ahead and tell a story about you?
absolutely.
I'm so excited. So, one of my favorite things we've ever done, and this may go down in like history of like the coolest things that's ever happened to me. And you said, "Hey, do you want to get in a car and drive 9 hours to Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's like January, so there's snow on the ground, and these are all things I would normally say no to. I don't like going long distances for a short weekend. I don't like, I was going to be hanging out with a bunch of people I didn't know. I was going to be staying at someone's house that I didn't know. You basically said, we're going to go to Raleigh for the weekend. We're going to hang out with my friends who I think are cool. And Jessica, I also think you're cool. So you're going to get along great, you know? And, um, and so it's just like all of these things I wouldn't normally do, but because it's you, Travis, I said yes. And I was like, I'm going to do like all these things just so far out of my comfort zone. So that's a little backstory of like what ended up being the best trip ever. Like I had no doubt that it was going to be awesome, even tired and introverted. So yeah, anyway, so we are going on this road trip. We drive out to Raleigh for a concert. The plan was to go to a concert for the Dave Matthews tribute band, not even Dave Matthews band,
Mhm.
and go to a hockey game, but with your crew that I was excited to meet. And so this concert happened to be on the same night that my football team was playing in the playoffs, right? I was kind of bummed that the overlap happened, and I wore my 49ers gear to the show. And I
Mhm.
would take small moments during the show to like pull up the game. I would peek at the score, watch a few drives, you know. And of course, I'm dancing at the show with a bunch of dudes who would catch me doing it over my shoulder, and they'd be like, "What's the score? Like, what's going on?" You know. And so I eventually just held up my phone for us to watch out of the corner of our eyes. And, we're watching the show, and my team won and it was great. And now those new friends of mine remember me as the girl who was watching football during the show. But whatever, we all had a great time. And I think it was just one weekend after that trip where
Mhm.
my team won the conference. And even before that, you had said to me, if the Niners go to the Super Bowl, I want to come and watch it with you.
Mhm.
Now we live about 90 minutes apart, and I'm still new to Indy. So I've been living here less than a year at
Mhm.
this point. And it's not like I was going to throw a big party. I don't really know people here. I'm not a drinker, so I wasn't going to like go out to, a bar or anything. I kind of searched around to see if there would be any parties that we could go to, but no, you had made it clear you just wanted to spend time with me, watching football, which we both enjoy, and you were going to cheer for my team because it made me happy, you know?
And
And
also because the other team was the Chiefs.
there's that too. I like to think it's because you wanted to
No,
support.
it was more you. It was more you.
But you did, and you came out early for that day, and you were just gonna stay for the day. And there were four of us together total, and we played games before the Super Bowl, and we just had like a cozy night at my partner's apartment. We had lots of snacks, and I had gone and picked up a bunch of new like mocktails to try because I don't drink.
Mhm.
And I because I'm in recovery, and you knew that I'm still trying to like do things I've always loved but without
Yep.
drinking. So you were just so enthusiastic about these mocktails with me. It was so sweet. um
Okay, your virgin espresso martinis were amazing, by the way.
yeah, I got to go get some more for
Yeah.
next time you come to visit for sure. And
Yes.
I don't know, we lost that game obviously, but we had a great time. And this is meaningful because I think it kind of validated and solidified for me something I've been kind of like thinking on and mulling over for a while. And that is, as we get older and perhaps we have fewer close friends or people you enjoy spending time with, you have to treat those connections like investments, right? You get out of them what you put into them, and we only have so much time and energy. So I've been feeling more and more like we met at a concert, right? And both of our circles are just full of these concert friends. And so we rarely have that opportunity to just like sit down and catch up, have a
Mhm.
conversation that's not, the bar hangout before the show, or if we're at the show, we're singing and we're not talking. Well, good people are singing and not talking, and having conversations. So anyway, I've been trying to reach out in the past year specifically to like certain friends and just be like, when we're in town, we're all in town for a show. And I'm like, let's go get breakfast or something and we can catch up. And, it's not really receptive, but it's just like, I've been trying to like push out of my comfort zone and like have these conversations because we're obviously similar. We share the same interests, but like we just see each other at shows. And but when you did exactly that. And you've done this numerous times in our friendship. You know, you were in my town once for another concert and you said like, "Hey, what are you doing for breakfast?" And I said, um, well, my mom is in town visiting, but we'd love to see you and catch up. And you did. And you did. You came out with me and my mom. You hadn't met her before, but it just felt like we were family already, you know, because, you know, these are the kind of people I have in my life. And so I wanted to tell that story because like that's how you make me feel. And
Oh,
I know that's how others feel about you. I think it's important for people to feel that way, and
mhm.
I think it's important for us to show up for each other in those special ways. You know, I once had a friend who lived in the same city with me, right? And we never saw each other at home. I saw her in Florida. You know, we went to a concert together. I saw her in Washington for the Gorge. We went to a concert together, but we never had the time or made the time to like sit down and have our conversations, you know? I'm not saying we need to go to like these extreme lengths, but most of our lives happen outside of the show. And like I think it's special when we just try and put in that little extra. So anyway, I went on
Mm.
and on, you know, with tangents on that one, I know, but I just wanted to point out that you made me feel special and that like little extra investment, and it's just a breakfast out of our day, but those are the things I remember. I love concerts, don't get me wrong, but there's so many
Sure.
other memories tied to it, and those special things I think are really really important. And you validated me because I was just thinking like I'm trying to like reach out to friends and they don't have time for breakfast for before the show. I get that, we're busy, but it's just like I was kind of I thought I was crazy for like wanting more of that. So um that's what I want to tell about you, and that
Aw.
I wish more people like could have these kind of attitudes, and I think we could all learn a lot from these like special times, these one-on-ones. So yeah, or
Yeah.
you know, not one-on-ones, you know what I mean, even just
No, sure.
smaller for getting out for other things. So yeah.
So I just a little comment on that. I absolute that going to breakfast with you and mom at what was it? Sleepy Bee, was that where it was?
It's called
Or
Yoke.
Yoke? Oh, Yoke. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It was a place I'd heard of before that I knew was like kind of in these areas, but like no,
Mhm.
that was wonderful for me too. Because I, it was. I mean, it was wonderful, and your mom is just absolutely a sweetheart. Like,
She's the
um,
cutest. Yeah.
but also, if you'll remember, that is very shortly after I had just come out as a bisexual.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I hadn't been around, like, I don't think I'd even really had the conversation with family at that point. And I had definitely not, like, basically, people who are older than us, the next generation up, I was extremely, like, about that conversation around them.
It's hit or
And
miss. Yeah.
yeah. And your mom was just the fucking coolest. Um, I know a little conversation around that happened when we were there, and it just I felt so comfortable in my own skin about that whole thing, and just yeah, I mean
Mhm.
that was yeah I that was after Jimmy Eat World, uh,
Okay. Yeah,
so
very
uh,
cool. No, mom's the
yeah.
coolest, and she's proven time and time again that she's just like the parent that I wish everyone had. And I really hadn't spent that one-on-one time with you yet, so I didn't know that you were like recently out. I just knew you as this person,
Oh,
you
gotcha.
know? So yeah, when we were talking about it at breakfast, I was like, "Oh, is this new for you?" And so that was a
Yeah,
surprise for me. And you know,
yeah.
and the conversations that happened after that were just like so beautiful. And it's just because of that little
Mm,
time we made for each other at that
mm,
breakfast. And it's just, it could just open so many more doors. So anyway, I'm glad you mentioned that part because A, my mom's amazing. And B, you know, just those little bits of letting our walls down, I think are so
mm.
important and so lovely. So yeah, very
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. So, I believe I have a story to tell about you, and
Yeah, yeah. I
it
should
has
have
a
said
little bit.
nervous now. Yeah.
Well, no, this is actually this is wonderful. This kind of leads to that letting your walls down moment, and I think you know where I'm going with this because it has a very similar genesis to the story you told about heading out to um, uh, Raleigh, right?
Hmm.
So you'll remember that. So yeah, I don't know, just you and I have always really just clicked. Like
Yeah.
from day one, I'm just like our energies are shocker. I don't, whatever the hell the word is. Like, it's just, it's all there, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
and so when I invited you to go out to Raleigh with me, yeah, I was super stoked you said yes. But then if you'll remember the circumstances, that was in January of this year. And we got the biggest snow slash ice storm that we had all year.
Wow.
Literally, be like, because you came and stayed the night at my house, and then
Mhm.
we drove from there. And you had said you were a little bit worried about, road conditions, all that sort of stuff.
I'm from California. I can't drive in it. I won't drive in it. So thanks for pointing another reason why I would have said no to
Yeah.
this trip, but because it's you and you sounded very confident,
Mhm.
I trusted you implicitly there.
So, I mean, and I'm from Texas. You had no reason to trust me that I could handle ice and snow. And maybe you shouldn't have. I don't know. But I had heard how to do it. Maybe I'm glad I'm telling you this now instead of beforehand because it ended up wonderfully. I had heard how to do it. I'd never really done it though. Um, but like with enough focus, you can really do anything. And I remember when you and I got on the road that morning. So like I I don't mind driving, but like the circumstance, like it's got to be a comfort zone sort of thing. And for the first, 3, maybe even 4 hours of that trip, when we were getting out of Ohio, because we went Ohio to like West Virginia. Oh God, remember West Virginia and the
Oh.
like the you have to pay cash toll booths.
Yeah,
Like
and also I wanted to point out too that I had a Subaru four-wheel drive and you have what, a Ford? Ford.
I have a white boy Toyota Corolla. The
Yeah,
most yeah.
yeah, Toyota Corolla, not
Yeah.
four-wheel drive. And
Yeah.
I offered that you could drive mine, and you said, no, I'd
Mhm.
rather just be comfortable in my car. So you seem so confident, and that
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can see.
yeah. And it was it went fine. We did well, but you were great because like I know like you and I went we have that we get together and it's
Mhm.
we have things going a million miles an hour and it's great. But for the first couple of hours, you were really, really awesome about making sure that, like, whenever we were, because, like, remember some of those roads, we were kind of ice skating on a little bit of it, and I was just super focused. But you were also like, you were laser focused as well. Help just like with the awareness and all that. We were just kind of a team for a couple of hours, and like we didn't even have like much music on. It was literally just focus mode, but like neither of us were getting snippy with each other, which is an easy thing to do on a car ride when things are intense and all
Mhm.
that stuff. And it was great. We made it through that, and then we got into where was it? When we got into Virginia itself, finally, there wasn't any snow anymore, and it was time to play the music. And
But I think
and
let me just interject real quick. I think we played music the whole time, and I don't remember it being tense. So
oh
I could tell that you were. So I was trying to let you focus. And then
yeah,
maybe I was just trying to, I promised myself I wouldn't
well,
interject people's stories.
well no,
But
you're fine.
yeah, anyway, I was like,
Well,
that really just goes to show that we really did have a good give and
yes.
take. We were a good team in the moment because I didn't feel your tenseness, but I felt your focus. So I
Oh,
was like, let me, do you
yeah.
need your water? Do you need this? Yeah. Yeah.
You kept it from being tense. You kept it to just being appropriately focused. Like it was that right amount of like, I don't know. It's like you read my personality and the situation so well. And like, that could have been the most stressful thing ever, but it went just fine. But then finally we're getting to Virginia, like that little sliver where we're passing through Virginia before we're in North Carolina. And we really can focus on the music.
Mhm.
Right. And I don't think I have ever had, and this is like when I think of you, like because like we can have super open and honest conversations. We can also have the best laughing time of our life. You and I managed to do that in a period of 10 minutes. Um, we were laughing our ass off, and then we were like alligator tears, like losing it because Yes, this is the year of our Lord 2024, and I had never heard Tik Tok by Kesha. This is on your car playlist, your road trip playlist, which baller mix, by the way. But you know, we're going along there, and I at first I thought this the song I didn't know what it was called or anything. I thought this was a mean song. I thought this was intended to just be a total joke. When the party don't stop till I go in, call the popo or whatever. I was and I couldn't. I was laughing so hard, and you were like, "No, this shit's serious," and I was like, "What?"
This was a huge hit. It's Tik Tok by
Yeah,
Kesha. Like I feel like it was one of my party jams, you know?
I thought it was a fucking joke, but and then you told me it was for real, and I think I like laughed for 2 minutes straight because I
We were
just couldn't believe
crying.
it.
We went
Yeah.
from crying over, by the way, Travis, have you heard this song In the Blood by John
So
Mayer? And
so
I
that
was
was
like,
the
it's I was like,
other.
that's one of his like deepest songs, and everyone needs to like let it happen to them. And we
Mhm.
cried. We both cried over that song because the lyrics are stunning. And TikTok
Yes.
by Kesha came on next. And
Yeah.
so just to paint the picture of the just juxtaposition of what ended up being like the highlight of the cast, right? We
Absolutely.
were crying again, but like our in that face
It
hurt,
was.
hurting kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, because I remember though, like, and this was when I was like, you know, I knew you knew me, but like when you were like whenever and like the more like intense moment of the weekend was in the blood.
Mhm.
Um you were and you warned me. You were like, this is gonna be rough. This is be prepared. And I was like, yeah, I mean yeah, try me. And like, no, I think like the second verse of that song starts, and it's literally like, it just connected. Like I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I relate to all of this, like every single word of it, and like the family situation, the talking about we both had issues with addiction in the past and all that sort of stuff, being able to relate to that, and just
Yeah.
like I was like, did this fucker write the song to make me cry? Because like that's what it feels like.
That's what it
And
does to everyone. I don't know how it
right?
does to everyone I know. It's just
Oh
wild.
my god, it was
I
that
knew,
was
and I because I know you so well, I was like,
yeah,
this is going to happen to you if you're right.
yeah. I should have believed you, but like nothing could have prepared me for how hard that song hit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I can't think of many other songs that just openly made me weep like
Yeah.
that. um,
That's something I love about our friendship is just we are musicians, we grew up musicians, and so we can like kind of discuss Dave Matthews songs on different levels and our friends that would just like tune out while we're talking about,
yeah,
what's on the upbeat or whatever. And so I knew you'd appreciate, and I appreciate friends who will do that with me. So yes, that's one of my favorite stories of all time. And that is just a snippet of that incredible weekend that we had together,
sliver.
a
Yeah,
sliver. It's just crazy. And then like I made so many good friends from that weekend because you're right. Like when you are someone I connect with so much and you have friends that you're like, Jess, you're going to vibe with them. I trusted you. And
yeah.
I went on to like travel to Morocco with one of those friends literally a few months later, you know?
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like I trusted you so much, and not in like a don't hurt me kind of way. Like I'm carrying trauma around. It's just like you've always been so safe for me, and I appreciate that so much for you. Can't wait to see what hijinks we get into next summer for
Oh my
sure.
god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait
I
either.
so again, that is one of my favorite stories. It has everything.
Yeah.
Even though it happened in 10 minutes while we're sitting in a car in West Virginia of all places. And
Yeah.
but
Right.
anyway, what is something that you like is meaningful to you about that story, and like maybe something you hope that people will take when you tell that story?
So meaningful to me, it's just the I was raised very much traditional, emotional cripple Southern, Christian man, that sort of thing. I was raised in a family, and in no fault of their own because it's the way they were raised, but uh, my like family pictures, especially on my dad's side, We were told that, everyone has the judge look. You don't smile, you don't show emotion, you don't, and like in growing up, like tense conversations, uncomfortable things were not something that was really at all seemingly encouraged in the house. And so I like letting my guard down around people is not something that like I really had ever like done. Only in like the last couple of years
Mm-hmm.
have I been more willing to do that, and it's fucking liberating.
Yeah.
Like being willing to cry if a song makes you fucking cry, and then be able to maniacally laugh right after it. But and being able to like talk about why it makes you feel that way. Like you get to know yourself, you get to know the people around you, you get to know what being a human is about more. It's just so amazing. But like, yeah, it's I would challenge anybody to to have an experience like that and just really let yourself go. It's so therapeutic, cathartic, whatever the term is you want to use. It's one of those words.
Wow. That's perfect. Perfect. You win my podcast for the day. So thank you. I think that's lovely. I agree that one of the best things I could have done for myself is just to learn to be vulnerable. And I learned that, in huge part thanks to telling my story last year on the stage, which led to this idea of like getting people to tell their stories and be vulnerable. And I just, and I knew that I have the right people in my life to help me do this. So I just, man, I knew you'd be one of the first people I talk to, and you'd have excellent stories, and you are awesome, and I appreciate you. So, yeah, that's what I've got for you. Do you have anything else for me?
Um, I not off the top of my head. I looked at the JT set list of the show we didn't go to. Only played
Oh
like three
yeah.
songs that we knew, so like kind of fine,
Okay. Yeah,
But
we were supposed to go to a Justin Timberlake concert because Travis, like the awesome guy he is, he's like, I want to come and hang out. I don't care what we do. And I was like, well, Justin Timberlake's coming. Like that would be a cool show for us to to be
yeah,
wild to. But again, a great friend will also know, I don't have the spoons for it right now. Let's do something else another time. So that was great.
mhm,
And I
yeah.
appreciate you for that for the concert we didn't go to. And we'll come up with
Oh, we will see each other soon. So,
yeah, exactly. Oh, you're the best. I'm sending all my hugs to you.
oh, big hug.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you go, but thank you for telling stories with me. You're the best. And I
My
knew
pleasure.
I knew you'd be the best at it. So thank you.
Oh, shucks. All right, Jess.
Take care. Take care, my friend. I miss you. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right, much love. See ya.
Bye.